Hey North of Boston fans, it's Jody Crowley with North of Boston Lifestyle Guide. Electra, why don't you tell us just a little bit more about the alternative board?
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, Jody, I am a business coach and I work with business owners, usually small to medium sized companies. And together, we look at what you're trying to do in your company and figure out how to get it done. So, part of how I do it is work one on one. I also facilitate bringing business owners together into peer advisory groups. And so, at most 10 people around a circle once a month, sitting shoulder to shoulder.
Now, do you work with a certain business size or industry?
I work across industries. You know, what we find is 75% of what comes up in a business, it doesn't matter the industry.
Interesting.
Everyone needs to sell, everyone needs to market, everyone has organizational challenges. How do you find the right people? Getting different industries in the room together, talk about like a diverse mindset. You learn what, and it may not be like on the mark totally, but you might get a great idea based on what's working in another industry and you change it to work in yours.
What kinds of challenges are you finding some of your clients facing today?
Well, it's been hard, between COVID and all the restrictions and how you might do business safely during this time. And then, the economics that have happened based on the economy shutting down for a period of time and then the recovery. And we know some industries are affected much more. There's definitely boom industries going on in some regard. And then some that are struggling to figure out how to survive.
Yeah.
And so in a moment like this, one of the first things we talk about is let's get very clear on cash flow. If you haven't already figured out what a realistic cash projection is, now is the time. And it's obvious, cash is king in the moment like this. You hear that, and it's true. Most businesses fail because they run out of cash. So let's get a realistic view, and I'm going to double down on realistic because being hopeful right now, I appreciate the mindset, but you cannot go to the bank with that.
Yeah.
You need to think about what's realistic, and then now you have to look at how much money you're spending, and are there things that are extraneous right now and it's not a priority, so you need to cut it out. You do have to look at your staff and say, do you have the right people, and do you need everyone right now, and how creative can you get? And all those things help you formulate if you had a strategy at the start of the year, chances are you had to throw it out because too much unexpected things have happened. And so now let's, with very new eyes and clear eyes, figure out what's my next 3 to 6 months look like.
Any client successes that you can think of that you would love to share?
I work with some wonderful companies, and and a couple come to mind. With one gentleman, and it's a technology firm, and so right now, his company's pretty busy with existing work. However, he's had real challenges bringing a sales team. So it's not uncommon in a smaller company that the original owner, is the salesperson and the most effective at selling.
Yeah.
However, to grow, you need to start to build an organization. And so how do you find the right people and how do you mentor them so that you have other folks being as successful selling and talking to prospects as you are? And so we've spent a little bit of time really looking at like what's most critical. What are the attributes of people who are successful in this role? What's the culture that I'm trying to build? What's the compensation structure? And thinking of all the things that really differentiate you as an employer and attracts the type of people that you want on your team and that are going to stay invested. And so I'm happy to say, today, now a team of 3 salespeople, and very successful and of different levels of seniority. Another story is with someone who when we first started working together, the business was stagnant. Existing projects were kind of going along, but there really wasn't many new business development. A new client hadn't been introduced in over a year.
Yeah.
And so, there was lots to be worried about. Those projects dry up, what was going to happen next? So we started to work together on lead generation strategies. How do you leverage your existing fan base, existing clients, and maybe even ones that you're not currently active with but have had good success with?
Yeah.
And you start to re-energize that base. How do you get out there networking? How do you build a strategic referral base? It's the work to figure out what the right thing to do is and then execute flawlessly.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And so one of the things that we set at the start of the year is something called a champagne moment. He introduced 3 new clients
Wow.
from not having any for over a year. And so it was worthy of celebration, and the revenue associated with these deals was significant. And so it breathed new life into the business, and it's an amazing pleasure and honor to be a part of that process and see that happens.
Yeah. Well, Electra, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Every time I interact with Electra, I learn something new, and I know that she's of huge value to her clients and customers. So if you know someone who's a small business owner, maybe you're a small business owner, they could use a little extra help. The formula that she has it's very powerful, what she has to offer personally, and also during these times to have other business owners to interact with and connect with and brainstorm with is invaluable. Being a small business owner is hard, and I know for a fact it can be lonely sometimes. So Electra can help.
I can, and I look forward to it. I love my work, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it.
I love it.